Hello and welcome to Mastering Excel. In this lesson, we're going to begin to work with charts, making beautiful charts and graphics in Excel. And to be honest with you, it's one of my favorite areas of Excel to play around with because it's just so much fun. And in this version of Excel, they've made it so incredibly easy to make beautiful charts with almost no effort at all. So typically when you have data like what we have here for our little mock company here, we have some employees, we have salary. They each got a raise, and so here's the amount of the raise that they got for that year, and here's the yearly sales volume that these people actually produced. And then we have some other categories off there. We would like to create some kind of graphical representation. Now, this will be a pretty short, simple chart, but you might imagine a situation when you would have, a few hundred employees, and you would be using a chart to quickly graphically show results without pouring through a giant table. So let me just go ahead and show you the quickest way to create charts in Excel, and then as we go through the next few lessons, you'll learn more and more about how to tweak them, how to change them, and how to customize them to whatever you're trying to do. All right, in this case we have Jason, Franks, Wilma, and Dino. Here are their annual salaries. Let's say we would try to graphically represent this. Just highlight the information. Notice we are highlighting the person's name, and we're also highlighting the numbers. All right, now when you do this, there's a couple of ways to create the chart. Notice that as soon as you highlight this information, a little graphic pops up here. It's the quick analysis pop-up, and it's basically going to recommend some easy charts for you. And as you get more comfortable with Excel, you can choose and customize different types. So when we click on this quick analysis toolbar, it's basically giving us lots of options. It's saying, hey, do you want to create data bars? We've talked about those before. Would you like to create color scales? Would you like to create, conditional formatting? We've done a lot of these things before. But notice there's another tab that says Charts. So if you click that, it's going to give you a couple of options for charts. So here's a clustered column. When you see a clustered column anywhere in Excel, it just means bar chart. So that's their terminology for bar chart. If you hover over that, it's going to give you a live preview of what this is going to look like. And to be honest with you, that's pretty nice. It's very, very close to what we actually want. We can change the colors and the titles and things, but basically it gives each employee's name and it gives a bar representation of their annual salary, which is nice. Now you can also represent this as a pie chart. So it's giving you the option of splitting all four of those employees into a circle, and you can see graphically who's making the most money and so on. And then you have a clustered bar chart horizontal. So basically you have vertical bar charts, horizontal bar charts, and then it tells you, hey, if you don't like any of these, which are the easy charts, then you can click this for even more charts. So let me just show you what happens if I click the first one. When you click it, it drops into your worksheet. Now don't get alarmed if it overlays all the underlying information. That's okay, because you notice we have a four-way movement arrow. I can drag this chart, move it out of the way. It doesn't affect anything going on in the cells. It doesn't disrupt it. It doesn't do anything. I can drag this and move it way over here out of the way. When I get ready for a presentation, I can move it back in place. Later on, I'm going to show you how to change the title and kind of customize this even further. But a couple things I want to point out to you. When I drop a chart on a page, when I highlight it, notice what happens. When I click the chart, notice the data that's driving the chart is now highlighted, so I can see where this information is coming from. And when I select the chart, I see a couple of new items in the ribbon menu. Those are not there normally, but when you click chart, they're there. Design and format for chart tools, and we're going to get into this, but when I get into the design tab, I have lots of options to change how this chart looks. We're going to get to that later. And when I get to the Format tab, I have even more options. So basically, it's extremely easy to drop very simple charts into Excel, and it's even easier to customize them and make them look, beautiful. So for now, let me undo the creation of this chart. I've moved it around a few times, so it's undoing those actions. So I'm just going to step through the undos until finally my chart disappears, and I still have the stuff selected. I wanted to show you when I click this guy and go to charts, if I don't select any of these, if I select more charts, then a dialog box pops up and it gives me the 3 chart options that that I just gave me a moment ago, and then it gives me the options to go to all charts, and you can run through these and kind of go up and down. You can see all the different kinds of charts here. We're going to go over lots of these in future lessons. The bottom line is you can go and select all charts through the dialog menu. All right, now that all happens if you press this button here. Another way to select a chart or to create a chart is to go in to the Insert menu, and over here it says Recommended Charts. Now this brings up exactly the same dialog box that we get to with the little icon. So I'm going to cancel that. Many times you know what kind of chart you're going to create. So you can see Excel has bar charts, which they called column charts. Here is what they really call bar charts, the horizontal charts. And we have lots of different kinds of charts. Pie charts, XY charts if you have lots of like scientific data and things like that. But we're going to create this bar chart again. So we just drop the menu down, and then again, right from the ribbon, you have the option of selecting the different kinds of charts. This is the one we chose before. You can go down to 3D and make the chart very, very similar. The only difference being that it has three-dimensional shading. And you even have room for even more types of formatting. Just remember that anything you do with a chart, you can undo extremely easily. So don't get too worried about it. You can just go and hit the undo button and choose a different kind of chart. These are the horizontal charts, and these are the three-dimensional horizontal bar charts, and so on. So we have different kinds of charts. We already explored pie charts. Now, there's tons of different kinds of charts. You can make them three-dimensional. We've got donut charts. We're going to go through some of these here in a little bit in more detail. So in this lesson, I mostly wanted to introduce charting to you and show you how incredibly easy it is to create a chart. In this case, we just highlighted this data here. What if we did not want to plot annual salary? If we wanted these people and we wanted to plot, let's see how much of a raise each one of them got. So if we want to highlight this stuff here, in addition to having this highlighted, hold the control button down and select this information. And holding the control button as you click additional cells is going to allow you to select multiple cells at one time. So now we have these cells and these cells selected. We can go up here to recommended charts if we want, but we highly suspect that we're going to use, let's say, a bar chart. And there you go. You can see this chart looks different with, you can see there that the vertical axis is how much money was made, or you can choose to go to a horizontal chart. You can see the amount of each person's raise right there. So whether or not you are selecting data that lies right next to each other, or if you're highlighting and then you're going and hitting control to select additional data, creating charts in Excel is extremely easy. You can go to recommended charts, you can select your chart type, drop it in, move it around, and in future lessons we're going to learn how to tweak and customize these charts to make them look exactly the way you would like them to look in your application.